handle the truth.
Happy Tuesday night. Welcome to the Filthy Truth. My name is Lynne Nelson, and for the first time ever, and I'm surprised it took them so long, I'm actually in Facebook jail for 24 hours because I said fucking sheep on a radio comment page. So don't do that if you want to stay out of Facebook jail. So for all you guys watching, if you guys can't get to my page or whatever, you can go to the Filthy Truth on YouTube. If you guys are watching, clearly you're going to be able to see where we're at. Anyways, we're on the WAM platforms, and yeah. So Tuesday in Winnipeg. I don't know if you guys have been following much of what's been going on, but man, oh man, it's been an interesting day. So I got to produce the back end today of the Chris Sky event here in Winnipeg, and that was it was pretty cool to even just sit back here and listen to it from the boringness of my own home. Would have loved, much preferred to be there, but you know, it's just me and Raj from the deputies. There, we're not getting on very well these days. So it was good to see everybody kind of show up last minute. It was an event that was kind of created last minute. So we do want to thank Chris Guy and his cavalry for coming in. Although Welcome to Winnipeg didn't last very long for Mr. Sky. He did get picked up by I think there was about 30 Winnipeg police officers, because there's no other crime in all of Winnipeg. They went and grabbed him. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. I don't know any other details. So if anybody on there is if you guys have any details, please feel free to share it on here. Let me know what you guys are thinking about today's event. If you guys got to watch it, let me know what you guys think about what he said. Let me know what you guys have. Yeah, just let me know your thoughts on today's event that happened. But definitely, he did get picked up, and have to say that this shirt here, the Just Say No shirt, this is from my friend Bonnie, who does the Freedom Market. So if you guys want these shirts, I believe they're about 20 bucks at the Freedom Markets. I'm not sure if she has any more. But yeah, so go ahead and get some shirts. Just say no. On the back, it says say no to government corruptions, to masks, and to the vaccines. So yeah, so he's still in custody. It was awesome. He had a bunch of great points today. I definitely liked what he had to say about the homeschooling thing, because the homeschooling thing is really where I feel like we're going to be able to kind of maybe stick it a little bit more to what we really think. Because right now, the things that we can control is what we do with our kids, where we put our kids. So if our kids, if we put them in school, are you going to fight the masks? Are you going to fight the school board? I think instead of fighting the school board and then fighting the masks and fighting the jab and fighting this and fighting that, I think you pull them out and you give a big one of these, and you keep your kids home. Because there's a couple perks for keeping your kids home. Number one, they're not going to be all the time in the face of, are you jabbed? Are you jabbed? Are you jabbed? They're not going to have to deal with the teachers asking them and saying, do your part and get the shot, so that the Delta variant plus, which is the jab people that are sick, you're going to stay safe. They're calling it COVID-22. Now, for those of you guys who are sitting there going, to COVID-22, that sounds familiar. Yeah, it should. We've been talking about this since last September. We've been telling you that COVID-22 was going to be here by the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. We've been saying this till we were blue in the face. Y'all just called us conspiracy theorists, told us to put our tinfoil hats on. And you guys have to remember that if I find old footage of when I said COVID-22 is coming, and I could take all the comments that everybody said and say, no, 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 no. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, this isn't about anything other than complete compliance. If you guys don't believe me, just look at what's happening in Australia. We're not far behind from what's happening in Australia. Oh, guys, I can go on and on and on tonight, but I don't want it to go on and on and on. But homeschooling, guys, Chris Guy, you don't need Chris Guy to say it, but he did have a good point. If for me, if all like that was the biggest thing I took out of his talk, because I've seen him speak before. He spoke a lot of the same things. So for people who hadn't seen him speak before, I think this was a really good introduction to what he has to do. I love that he stuck around and did a big Q&A after. I love that. I love that a couple people got to grab the platform. I got to see Gloria, got to see Julie, got to see a couple of people that are very familiar in my circle. So it was great to see all of those guys show up, grab the mic, and have a chat. It was great to see. It was great to see people just stand together and still say, "No, we're not doing this. We're not gonna comply. We're gonna fight." And if you guys weren't, if you guys are also living under a rock here in Winnipeg, Rusin and Pala Hitler there, they came on today and said that if you're working in any type of like big government offices or any offices that have anything to do with anything, they're mandating the vaccine or the shot or the poison or whatever the hell you want to call it by October 31st, which means you'd have to have your second shot, which means you have to go get your first one by September. I thought somebody said the 7th or something like that. So you guys, we and I mean we actually, it was the Canadian nurses, the Canadian nurses, frontline Canadian nurses. I'm getting their name mixed up here. Stage or are creating a walkout on September 1st. Alex, can you put this on the comments here? September 1st, it is a worldwide walkout, which means if your job is forcing you to get the shot because you're going to lose your job, you need to call their bluff because this is it. If we don't start doing something here and start saying no, right? Just say no, then we're going to lose this and we're going to lose this fast. So you need to be willing to walk out because if you call their bluff, they're going to be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was just kidding." Because everybody thinks in the news, everybody says, "Oh, well, 50% of them are shot up, 75% of them are shot up. My whole work environment is all shot up." You know what? Even the shot up are not okay with this. And that leads me to my next point before I bring on our guest, Samantha from We Are Essentials. We need the double vax to start standing up now. We need the double vax to start saying this is not okay. We need the double vax to start saying no, don't segregate us. We need the double vax to start saying this is bullshit. We don't want a two-tier system. We took the shot because we wanted the shot for A, B, C, D, E reasons. We didn't take the shot to separate ourselves from the unvaxxed. We didn't take a shot to create a two-tier system. We wanted the shot because we felt like we wanted it for protection, or we took the shot because we wanted to travel, or we took the shot for whatever, not to cause a two-tier system. So we need right now, if you're vaxxed and you guys are not for this segregation at all, you guys need to start standing up. You guys have to start using your voices and start speaking out. And you have to join the unvaxxed on the World Walkout Day here. If you want more information on it, shoot me a text, a DM, a PM. You can email me, whatever, however you can get a hold of me. I'm not hard to get a hold of. I'm all over Facebook. I'm all over Instagram. It's easy to get a hold of me. And I will send you the information. Because can you imagine if even like 25% of the nurses walked out of a hospital? Can you imagine if 10 doctors walked out of the hospital? Can you imagine if 30% of the police force walked out? Can you imagine if 25% of the firefighters stepped out, the paramedics stepped out? Can you imagine if all the teachers that didn't want this two-tier system that stepped out? Can you imagine the message we'd be sending? We need to do this. This is cross country. We need to go. We need to do this. So if you are against this, you need to stand up for this. You have to stand up for this. You have to just say no. And you have to say, not on my watch. Jabbed or not jabbed, I don't care. This has nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with the two-tier system that they're trying to create. They are trying to create the us versus them mentality, and it's got to stop. September 1st, right here. Walk out of your work. Their bluff. Call their bluff. Because if you don't start taking a stance, you're not going to have a job later on anyways. They're going to kick you out. You're going to get fired, or you're going to be forced to. That's my 2 cents before I had to get that out before I brought on our guests. So, if you guys have been living under a rock for 18 months, you would know nothing about We Are Essential. But if you know everything about We Are Essential, they are I found them on Instagram. Hugs Over Mask with Vlad. He's also very much involved with these guys. These guys here have created a huge platform for business owners, entrepreneurs to be able to stand up and unite together, because you need to know your rights. If you guys were watching there for a little while, there was this little gym, I believe it was in Toronto, and it was this little lady, and she would yell at the cops, and she'd just like give them all this dose of law information, all this dose of like, get the hell out of here. I will not comply. I will not comply. And she got that all from We Are Essentials. So guess what? We got We Are Essentials on the show tonight. So please welcome Samantha to the show. I wish we had like a drum roll for you to come in, because I feel like you need one, and like all the trumpets and the sounds and all of
Well, thank you.
Like amplify, because what you guys have done for businesses across Canada, I think has to be one of the most celebrated things, and one of the best platforms that I follow for freedom fighters. So for a business owner like myself, I want to thank you for having the balls and the courage and the audacity to stand up and teach Canadians their rights. So thank you for doing that.
Appreciate that very much, and appreciate you having me on the show to represent the network. You know, we are truly an active network. This is not the Vlad and Sam show. Vlad founded it. I'm the managing director for weareallessential.ca for those that haven't checked out the website yet. Yeah, this is an active network of small business owners that have come together. We've helped to bring them together, and at the end of the day, you know, it's the business owners. Every single person who's, you know, is taking action, is helping to empower others within our network. It's almost like a mentorship, right? Yes, we have our fundamental trainings available to everybody as soon as they register. But beyond that, you know, it's one thing to learn the basics. It's another thing to build that confidence, to be fully empowered to act on that, right? It's, you know, knowledge is power, but only when applied. So, you know, it really is a mentorship in that sense. Businesses that signed up with us back in, November, right? They're still around. They're still helping others who are just joining now, right? And it's a beautiful thing.
Isn't Teresa from Huff Gym part of this? Yeah, she is as well, right?
Absolutely. Adam Skelly was one of our founding members as well. Everyone knows Adam Skelly. Yeah.
Everyone knows who he is. So tell us a little bit about how come you guys decided to create this platform? Why did you feel there was a huge need for that?
Well, I can't take credit for the creation of it. I came on board in December, but Vlad, you know, Vlad Sobolev, for those that are familiar or not familiar, check him out. He's been a very committed freedom fighter since May of 2020. He's sacrificed a lot, and he saw the need early on. I mean, he comes from formerly communist country, and he could see the writing on the wall. And he would have started it earlier on, although there were some other people that were discussing that and doing that. So he didn't want to duplicate efforts. So he focused on building communities of empowered Canadians to push back against mask mandates, et cetera, and just generally, you know, be amongst like-minded people. So he focused on Hugs Over Masks first, but yeah, I think it was pretty clear within no time that this was very much targeting the small business sector. I mean, it's one thing to say, you know, lock down everything for a period of time, but to do this selective lockdown is bullshit, right? I mean, it's completely been targeting, and there's just been they haven't justified anything with actual science, really. I mean, it's mind-boggling, but the fact that, you know, that the one-on-one personal services, right? They were targeted. So like hairstylists, any sort of personal care. There's so many sectors that have been affected. Like not to focus on any, but you know, it's just absurd. The fact that, you know, a big box store can be open, catering to thousands of people a day with no precautions, and yet you can't have a one-on-one service provided, right?
So when you when we're talking about that, for maybe we could kind of get it from your point of view, because I mean you can, we could say, like, because my gym was one of the ones that was closed down. I had a gym. We were told 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We're still being told 2 weeks to fucking flatten the curve. Um, but why do you feel like the small businesses are being targeted? And again, with this fourth lockdown coming, like we're hearing we're in for one hell of a lockdown that's coming up. So why do you think they're targeting us, the small businesses?
It's because this is not about health. This is about control. And what's the best way to control a big chunk of the population? It's to take away their financial independence, to take away, to break them down. And one of the easiest ways is financially, right? People will comply because they feel they have to on financial basis. But this is just like, the analogy of the boiling a frog. Like, how do you cook a frog, right? It's just like, just 2 more weeks, just this, just that, and it allows a lot of people to not realize that this is never going to end until we say no.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I think, the small business sector, it employs millions of people in Canada. And so not only by targeting the small business sector, are you taking out those who are financially independent, who think for themselves. Think of entrepreneurs are, we're not about like following the template or, like following orders. We want to create, we want to have that independence, and we do think for ourselves. We think outside of the box. So we've got to, the reason for it is they want to basically crush the independent thinkers, and they want to, and by them employing millions of Canadians, if they go down, you're going to have millions of more Canadians on social assistance, etc. Yeah. This is
And we've been talking about basic income for a while now, and that's kind of wherever they want to lead everybody. So Samantha, what's one of the biggest things as entrepreneurs that we should know right off the hop? Like, what's the biggest piece of information that we should know right off the hop?
Well, you know what? None of these these mandates are basically like glorified suggestions. They're guidelines.
Yeah.
I mean, they're completely unlawful, and they won't hold up in court. I want everyone to know, who's been considering not complying, that we have plenty of evidence of tickets being completely thrown out right before they reach the court, because they cannot justify them in court. Yeah. So they'll string you along, et cetera. They're really betting on intimidation and ignorance. But we have, especially, many months into this, we have a network of 1,400 members roughly, that have been standing up, some as early as November, right? And we have the evidence from our direct experience that, yeah, they'll hand out tickets like candy, but they're not holding up in court. And yes, we're still dealing with some corruption in the courts. So yeah, there's some big cases that haven't been fully heard yet, that are going to knock it out of the water as soon as they are heard. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is just, no, you're not doing anything wrong, right? This is, it only takes an ounce of common sense to realize that that it doesn't make sense, that they're not justified, and that, there's just so much hypocrisy, right? There's so many things that just don't add up. So you're not in the wrong. You have every right to earn a living. In our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, in the Bill of Rights, it is our God-given right, to be free and to enjoy our property and to all that. So yeah. I would say, I don't want to get into the training per se. I think there's just not enough time for that. And that's why we really want to build this to over 10,000 businesses ASAP. So inside of the user account is, the 101 on the Bill of Rights, on the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, on common law, et cetera. So dive in. It's all there for you, step by step, super user friendly. We give you the signs to put up. We teach you, we streamlined it and simplified it as much as possible, just to get, just to immediately feel empowered. And then from there, you can always go deeper. And like I said, we're a network, so you'll learn from everybody in the Telegram chats. We have 2 Zoom calls a week. Yeah, no shortage of information and support for those that join.
That's, I think, the biggest one, right? Because I think as business owners, you can feel alone a lot of the time, on a good day. So never mind, you add all of this restriction and the fear. So who have been some of the biggest kind of success stories that you kind of have had? I mean, I'm pretty sure like Adam is probably one of them. and he's waiting for his court case because then they just throw his out and he's like reapplied for it or something like that.
Yeah, what happened with Adam, he had a court date, I think it was June 28th and 29th. And, on the day of that hearing, the judge just realized that apparently she didn't have jurisdiction over this. So, I mean,
Yeah,
total bullshit once again. Yeah, it's, but he's actually now changed out his legal team once again, going with a slightly different strategy. It's super powerful. I personally don't even have all the details. They're definitely keeping their cards close to their chest, but it was a solid case before, and it's only going to be better. So they're still looking to get back in the courts. As far as members that have been successful, we have so many. Like basically, I can't really say 100%, but like those that opened up are still open. And you know what? Typically, what we find is they'll get a few tickets initially, and then they leave them alone.
Yeah.
In some cases, our members are so vocal about their stance and such that like enforcement knows about them. They literally tell them, just don't bother with Jamie at Pushing and Tattoo, right? Like, so it's awesome. We have so many members that have been open for many, many months, have not had to pay fines. Yeah, it's a pretty badass community. Love it.
Awesome. So what on like in this community, like what kind of business, like are all businesses welcome, or are you kind of like picking and choosing which ones are allowed to come in?
So we focus on small and medium-sized businesses. That said, I'd love to get some bigger businesses if they are aligned with what we're about. Yeah, let's get, the more the merrier. We need the numbers, and to have some big companies that are willing to stand with us. That'd be epic. But up until now, it's been mostly small and medium-sized businesses. Definitely all different sectors. We even have a lot of people join us who are entrepreneurs who haven't been affected directly. Maybe they don't have a brick and mortar style business, whatever the case may be, but they're still joining us in solidarity, and they're still helping us to build the network and helping us, like I said, bringing resources to the party, etc. So yeah, come one, come all, join us. Yeah. And if you're not a business owner, just for those that aren't business owners, please still join us. There's a volunteer section on our website. We also help to empower you as a Canadian, right, to exercise your rights. So yeah, join us as a volunteer or join us as a member. It's all free.
You guys were looking for volunteers there for, was it not too long ago either? I thought I saw a bunch of so what do the volunteers help you with, like kind of just put up some signs and stuff like that?
Mostly reaching out to businesses online, offline, letting them know we exist as a network. Definitely, yeah, if there's postering, there's stickering, a lot of it's done not necessarily with like We're All Essential stickers, but just we have an active volunteer community. What else? Marketing, like, we put out a lot of stuff. So we have people who have joined us who are great graphic designers or, have experience with websites, etc. So I'd say most are probably focused on outreach, and the rest, have some special skills that we definitely employ. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. So the shows tonight is empowering themselves on the impending lockdown. So with the fourth lockdown that's kind of just sitting there looming, we know in Winnipeg especially, like they're going to shut down gyms again. They're going to shut down probably the restaurants unless you're vaxxed up, or who knows what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. Actually, maybe we could talk about that. What about the passport? Are the businesses who are on the We Are Essential, are they supporting that, or do they just say F that, and are they opening to everybody?
Well, I can't speak for every single business owner that's part of our network, so I just want to be careful with that. Obviously, we don't require that they believe everything that, like we don't have a mandate per se. Like the only thing we do ask in the application is do you honor mask exemptions? That was up till now. Well, now we may have to add something around the Vax Pass, because as of yesterday in BC where I live, they are now rolling out an ID card as of September 13th. So non-essential events, services, etc., you'll need apparently to have that card. Well, so I would say, though, based on what I witness in the chats and on the Zoom calls, that most people who join our network are very much not for anything to do, like anything that's going to segregate, our society, right? Like we cannot, as you were speaking so eloquently to in the intro, we cannot allow for this medical apartheid that they're trying to create here. This is, so as a whole, I'd say, yeah, most of our members, at least the active ones that are very vocal in the chats and stuff, they're not getting the jab. They're certainly not discriminating based on, masks or ID cards, et cetera. Yeah. And right now, I think this is it's absolutely crucial, that we build this network and we make a stand, of a very public stand around this, this next phase, which is, these vax identification cards, right? This is we've got to nip this in the bud ASAP. And so, yeah, definitely, if you are all aligned with that, please join us, because we need the numbers once again to take that stand. And the beautiful thing with the network is that we can coordinate much, much more effectively. We know where we have strongholds across the country, and we can coordinate certain dates, and we can get the word out through all of our channels, not just We Are All Essential channels, but the business owner channels, et cetera. We have a huge reach in that sense.
So, so somebody's just asking here, how can somebody join for volunteer, and how can businesses join to be a part of this group?
So go to weareallessential.ca. Along the top navigation bar, you're going to see Join Network. So that's for the business owners. And then for the volunteers, just slightly down to the right, you're going to see Volunteer. And it's just a quick couple minutes, not even, to fill out a basic form. We just, we want to, it's not so much that we have all these conditions to join. It's just we do want to have some sort of screening process. Also, we want to, once again, it's about knowing where people are at. We could certainly offer everything behind the scenes out front, but if we did that, we wouldn't know where everyone is. We couldn't coordinate and do all take the action together. That is the point. United non-compliance, mass united non-compliance. So that's why we ask people to register. There's no fee, but that is really important. And then from there, we send out a welcome email. Whether you're a volunteer or a business owner, we, follow up with a phone call, make sure you're plugged in, you're finding everything okay. Maybe you have something that you're dealing with right now. Let's connect you with somebody who's dealt with that before. Let's connect you with the members, whoever might relate to you most. Mm-hmm.
I really like that. It's kind of like a mentorship with the people who have kind of done that, have been around for a while, that kind of help out the newbies to coming in. So empowering the impending lockdowns. So with the lockdowns that are kind of knocking at the door, the fear tactics that they're going to push in is the Delta variant plus, that it's going after the kids. So how do we as business owners better empower ourselves to know that this is all smoke and mirrors? What do you say to your members to say, don't worry about it, just keep opening, keep doing this, keep doing that? How do you empower your members to do that?
To not worry about what?
To worry about the impending lockdown. So with the lockdown coming up, because a lot of people are now going to be scared, because now who knows the big push, right? And if they're going to require that stupid damn card, how do we empower our business owners to stay open and say, basically?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, I hate to sound like a broken record here, but when you join, you're going to see that you're not alone. I can even let you know how many businesses in your city, in your town, are already a part of our network. We can help you guys connect. What we do often is we develop regional hubs. We're actually, the business owners, they meet up, and volunteers, they meet up offline, right? Have in-person meetings. That's powerful, because it's just to know, it's just not a number. It's it's a person there that's actually willing to lock arms with you, seriously. So yeah, join. You're going to see so many really empowering resources shared within the Telegram chats. We have a volunteer that just joined us recently who is going to be organizing all that into a resource library, so we can access it. We can do a search more efficiently, because we have so many awesome resources coming to us all the time, by email, in our Telegram, all over the place. But it's only as useful as if you can find it efficiently. So we're getting that organized too.
So somebody here is saying that they wish they had something like this in Ireland. How do you guys organize something like this so that we can share this with the US, Ireland, the UK, everywhere, kind of around the world?
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly it's not the first time I've heard that. We've had lots of people reach out to us and say, "Hey, I want to. How can you do this for us here?" And it's a pretty big undertaking in terms of we're still struggling to reach all Canadians, right? We don't have money. Donations come in, and we use that. And if we had more donations come in, we could certainly do more like paid ads that create more awareness that way. What I would say to those people anywhere else in the world is that it really doesn't take much to get started. A simple website. We use a WordPress. It wasn't a basic website. And then it's just about, we leverage just social media, right? Get the word out. We're here. And then you'll find, and what I would say also is, if you are in another country and you want to do something like this, join us as a volunteer, get behind the scenes with us, learn how we're operating, how are we staying in touch with everybody, how are we disseminating information, how are we promoting the network, right? You can learn just from being a part of our community. That's probably
such a good idea to be a part of that community. Because when I joined We Are Essentials, I got a phone call. I think it was, I can't remember, it was within the week that I signed in. And yeah, it's pretty neat to be able to speak to somebody on the other end, because you're like, well, this is actually like for real, like people are on the other side of this, because it's really is empowering to be able to log on, get any information you need, like legality information. It's all right there. I was telling the story just before you came on about that one girl who had that one gym. I think it was in Toronto, and she basically it was like a yoga gym too. And that girl just kept on yelling at them to get out, get out, get out. And they kept trying to come at her. And she's like, get off my property. Like, we're allowed to run. I'm not complying. I don't remember who she was. So if anybody has that.
I think you're talking about Samantha from High Vibrations. She's,
yes.
She's not in Toronto, but just outside. Yeah.
Just outside Toronto.
We have so many badass members. She's such a badass. Jada from One Stop Fitness. She's in, where is that? In Oshawa. Yeah. Teresa from Huff Gym. Gosh, I can go on and on and on. There's so many. Some of our videos, because we also do our best to encourage our members to record interactions with bylaw and health authorities, because people need to see it's possible, right? Lead by, like, show in. So and also for their own protection, right? To have those exchanges recorded, it's important, in court, etc. So, but yeah, they've gone viral, and people are just like, people love seeing our members stand up. They're awesome.
That's it. But you know what? It empowers you as, like, even like I do personal training out of my home gym now, because the group gyms, it just doesn't work well with, because I'm in a bay here, and it gets pretty loud when you're dropping weights and stuff. But it is cool to know that. And you just leave it to the badass gym owners just to tell people to get the hell out of their property. They're not scared to tell you to fuck off in a heartbeat. And I know that here, even with Sean.
I was just going to say, Sean's one of our members too. He is awesome. The Viking. Oh,
so for all of you owners out there, all you business owners, like, maybe take a couple pages out of the gym owners, and just don't give a fuck attitude, because honestly, the more you could just be your authentic business, right? And just be your authentic, what you're here to serve people, the more people are going to follow you. But the more people are just going to, like, kind of create, even if they're like the cops, they create a respect for the fact that you're actually standing up for you and your livelihood. Because your title that of your whole premise is, we are all essential. Like, we are all fucking essential. If you're feeding your family, if you're feeding yourself, if you're paying your bills, if you're taking care of your kids and you're taking care of your dogs, you're essential. Whatever you're doing, it's essential.
Exactly. Yeah. And I will say that's another concern that business owners have, is they're worried about losing clients. And I will say that not everyone's going to agree with you taking a stand. Let's say you don't comply with the next lockdown. No, not everyone's going to agree. But I will say we have plenty of evidence now that our members who have taken a stand and been public about that, they're losing some clients, but they're gaining so many more. Right? Yep. They're replacing those clients with really like-minded, beautiful people that they prefer to work with anyway. And yeah, a lot of our members have actually had more new clients in the last 6 months than they had in all of 2020.
And I can totally attest to that, because all the personal training clients that I have are all freedom fighters that I've met through these kind of networks. And by taking a stance, like, I didn't skip a beat with the personal training. If anything, yeah, you get more when you're staying. Again, I think it just stays to that authenticity of what you are for your business. So with what you guys are doing and kind of collaborating all that stuff, people who do get the fines or even like pending court cases, like what are the legalities that people like? Is it all laid out for them, or do they have to contact lawyers? Like, how does that work for the legality if they get the tickets?
Well, the first few steps you do not need a lawyer for. It's like it's almost the best analogy is sort of the parking ticket, right? You turn it over, you see your options, and you can test it, right? You can test it to file for a court, and yeah, it's and if things escalate, at some point you may want to seek some additional legal advice. Like I said, most tickets don't even make it to court. They get thrown out right before because they know they can't defend it. We do have some connections with legal groups that are in certain areas that are willing to do it pro bono. So as much as we don't have an in-house legal team, we definitely can connect you with some legal support if necessary. But oftentimes people don't really need to exercise that option.
Do you know if some of the businesses are being forced, like as the business owners, are they being forced to get the jab as well to stay open? Do you know of anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. No.
Not to knowledge. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know that what they're doing in BC is what they've done here with the card. We can't go to Jets games if you don't have the double shot. We can't go to the Bombers games. That's not a big loss. Don't care. But it was all those little segregation things. And I know I was just talking to one of my personal training clients. She works in a physiotherapy office, and she was just told if she doesn't get it by October 31st, she's going to get the boot. So to those people there, I know that they don't necessarily work for they're not their own company, but is there a way for even those people to be protected or to kind of get some kind of information from you guys to help them out?
So people who are employees of the company, yeah. Uh, yes, actually, Action for Canada has put together a really great notice of liability. I would highly recommend checking out their website and downloading that. It's very detailed, and in many cases, that's enough to have the employer go, oh, never mind, right? Because they basically you're asking them to sign this document saying if you require me to take this for my job to maintain my position, then you're going to sign here and say that if something happens as a result of this, you're liable, and that's usually enough for them to say, oh, never mind, we'll just back off, right? Because they know that they can't legally require that, right? Yep. Well, maybe they don't know that, and maybe they're just ignorant, but regardless, that's a good place to start. We work, so there's a class action in BC actually that's underway as well that some people may not know about. It was filed in January. They had their first procedural hearing a couple weeks ago, and it's a really solid case as well. And that legal team has been also helping to provide some, like putting together a whole FAQ with answered by lawyers, I should say, right? Answering these commonly asked questions. So we should have that really soon. We'll definitely put that out there. And they often they'll put together cease and desist letters around different topics because this case is underway. So that's one example in BC. It really depends. It's a lot of similarities between provinces, but it does also depend on the province, what resources are available for you right now.
You just hit something, because I did know about that court case. I just talked to somebody that came in from BC, and she was very big with this case and stuff like that. And she was telling me that seized and what did you just call it?
Cease and desist.
Can you not use that against what they're trying to push then for September?
I feel it may need to be modified slightly, but I think the premise remains the same. Absolutely. So, yeah, I'll make a note of that because I'd like to touch base with the society that is leading that challenge and see what we can do around this announcement that was made yesterday around.
When I heard that, I was like, oh, but they have a case against them. So how are they getting around those extra little things? Because Dr. Bonnie is leading the charge, and she's the one that they're going after in this case, right?
Exactly, right. That none of these should be enforceable with this case in court.
I don't even know how, but see, see, that's something that has to happen here in Manitoba too, because Rusin and Palliser are running this province into the ground. you know, and it's just, it's awful to see that, but it'd be great to kind of get that, what's happening in BC, to get to something to happen here. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And I would recommend anybody in other provinces, right?
yeah,
You can go to our website, weareallessential.ca, and you'll see there's a section called legal action. Check out what kinds of like materials have been provided by this legal society here, and have those replicated in your province,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Use it as a template.
I think there's a website called suebonnie.ca, and that actually leads you right to the Canadian Society for Advancement of Science. Anyways, it basically kind of goes through all of that, and it tells you everything about what's happening in the BC case. So
That's
that,
an easy URL to remember. That's a good one. But that goes to the society I was just telling you about the BC class action. So yeah, they've got tons of information on there.
tons of information. Like, I was going through that, and you can go through, you can literally see everything that they put together. I was, somebody made, yeah, the girl that we were in contact with, and they gave us all these pamphlets here. We had a town hall last week, and so she came out and handed out those pamphlets, which is really, really cool to see. So now
Mhm.
we need somebody in Manitoba to step up and say, all right, let's go, let's take this case and start filing it for ourselves.
Mhm.
So off air, you and I were talking before we came on, and you said you guys were creating a podcast platform. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to be doing our own podcast hosted by our network. Several of our members are going to be the hosts on the show, and we're going to obviously focus on issues that affect small business owners and current issues in general. It won't just be specifically small business, but largely. And yeah, we're shooting our first episode on Monday, the 30th, and we're going to pre-record it, just iron out some glitches probably, and then stream it. But moving forward, yeah, so early September we'll be launching our podcast. It's going to be called Essential Talks.
Nice.
Okay, and you'll be able to find it on all the usual platforms. We're going to do something similar to Lynne here, and do the the mega platforms, and obviously upload the audio to Spotify and other podcasts.
And he's a good producer. My little guy there, my little Alex, he's a great producer to have, and he does like such awesome work. Like, I just literally throw him 5 ideas, and then he comes out with all these really amazing videos. It's like, makes my job super easy. So if you guys need a really good producer, he's awesome.
Thank you.
So where people are going to be able to find that? We were kind of saying, like, you're going to go on this kind of platform, or are you going to focus more on like Spotify or?
Yeah, we're going to be using StreamYard as well, and streaming it to multiple platforms, and then so quite similar to what you're doing. Some of the details haven't been totally set up yet, so I can't. I'd love to say. Actually, I'd be curious to know if people can pre-subscribe to a channel. Like, if I set up different.
Yep, you can set it all up, and then you just put it up there, and people can follow it along for sure. You don't even need an episode yet. It works really, really well. I love it. Spotify and like we were talking about, Podbean are the two biggest platforms, and people can download it. They can listen to it right on their phones, and they don't even need Wi-Fi if they're traveling. So those are the best times to listen to podcasts. That's when I listen to them the most, anyways. Perfect. Or when I started working out, I started listening to this stuff. So
Lynne, sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure, because I don't have all the details yet, just for those that are wanting to stay in touch about the podcast or any of the many projects that we've got going on, please, if you're on Telegram, follow us. We have a channel, We Are All Essential, and we'll definitely be posting more there. And of course, we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, the usual suspects. Yeah, so we'd love you guys to follow us.
Absolutely. I think that this was, I think, like, for business owners, just maybe before I let you go, if there anybody that's watching us live right now, if you guys are business owners, do you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Samantha while we have her on? One of the things as a business owners that I think I would have liked to have known before the lockdown was, how do I work around the mask mandates, and how do I work around the pressure to have to close down? I know we've talked about that pretty blue in the face today, but I think that what like if with the business owners kind of coming in, like just your Instagram alone, you guys have so many freaking stories on your Instagram, so much. It's like sometimes it's overwhelming how much something some days you guys are pumping out that's like holy shit. So you got to go through that. If people are new to this platform or people are new to the We Are Essentials, do you hook them up with kind of like the same kind of business, or do you just hook them up with the people that have maybe gone through the same scenario, or like how does that mentorship kind of work?
Hmm. So basically, when you join, you'll receive an email with all of your links. Like I said, you'll also get a phone call. Just make sure you're accessing everything okay. But the biggest way to connect with people who can help you the most, whether it's in your industry or they face what you're facing, is to be active in our Telegram chats and to be
Okay.
active on the Zoom calls. Because as soon as we often encourage, hey, join the Telegram chat. We've got a few, by the way. We've got sort of I'd say general, but it's definitely more specific about staying open and how do we deal with all these things. So the network chat, then there's an SOS chat. So if you're facing some intimidation tactics, and you need a little bit of immediate coaching, we've got that SOS chat. Drop it in there. So there's a couple of different chat. We have a common law specific chat. So there's a few chats, but the main point is get in there and introduce yourself.
Yeah.
So and so, I'm here. This is my business. This is what I'm concerned about. Has anyone dealt with this? That's all you need to do. And
Yeah.
it's such a supportive community. You're going to get an answer within seconds, if not minutes. And from there, people say, "Oh, you should really talk to Kimberly. Oh, you should really talk." She. So we'll connect inside of the network chats and inside of the Zoom calls the meetups that we do.
Okay. So this is one of the questions here. Can I just ask why it is in any state over here in America, even though the mayor or local government imposes mandate exemptions, why are these businesses not recognizing them? It's a good question.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, we're dealing with that here in Canada too, right? A lot of it's just ignorance. The business owners think that they're going to be ticketed for not enforcing the masks, and in some cases they have been, but once again, not going to hold up, right? There are exemptions in every public health order in every province, and I'm sure the same in the States, right? And it is, as much as the government would love the small businesses to do their dirty work, it is not your responsibility to police this thing. You know, you cannot ask for people's medical information. So if somebody says, I have an exemption, you're actually liable if you don't honor that. You can't say, oh, show me your doctor's note. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yep.
We cannot ask for that. So that's the argument there is you literally you have to take people at their word, you
Yep.
know? Yeah.
So we had there was one business here just up in Ashern, and they had like signs upon signs like wear a mask, don't come in if you have a cold, don't come in if you've been out of, like literally the whole door was covered in signs like of don't come in if you did this, don't come in if you did that. And that is like that's got to be fear based, nothing more than just fear based for these business owners. Like I think the government did a really good job scaring the shit out of all of these business owners to close the doors.
They absolutely did. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Adam Skelly was a perfect example. Did they ever bring the hammer down on him? Like that was so excessive in the force, right? Like excessive force being used. And that was to make an example of him so that they in the hopes that nobody else would attempt to open up in non-compliance.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully we've come a ways from that. But yeah, well we'll give you a whole bunch of other signs to put up on your your windows that are inclusive, that are empowering, that are, helping Canadians who come to your business to exercise their rights as well. Yeah.
That's right. And I think at the end of the day, guys, I think that that's what it is, right? It is taking a stance. It is just saying no. And it is just, you have to believe that there are people like Samantha and their crew that are there backing you guys up every step of the way. And when it's scary, when it's like, when you feel like there's no lights on anywhere, you can reach out and there's always going to be a hand to grab.
Mhm.
Because honestly, like Samantha, like I think what you guys have done for business owners in Canada, we literally need every entrepreneur signing up with you so that we can protect that middle class because we're like that close from losing it.
Absolutely. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished. As far as I know, we have opened more businesses and had them stay open than any other association, right? And but there's so much, like, we're just skimming the surface, and
Yeah,
we could be so much more effective if we had 10 times the number of businesses, right? There is strength in numbers. So, what have you got to lose? Register. It's free.
yeah,
Learn a few things about our rights and how to exercise them, how to talk to bylaw, et cetera, how to deal with the tickets. I think before this is a perfect time to join and start empowering yourself before the next lockdown, right? Get ready, because it's
that's right.
unfortunately, I don't think it's not an if, it's a when, right? And I think we're probably a month out, you
Oh
know.
yeah, I think by the end of September.
So yeah, start empowering yourself, and know that you'll see within seconds that you're not alone. Obviously, there's tons of people in the chat and stuff, but yeah, we could really use every single business owner to register. And hey, if it's not for you, no worries. There's no commitment. We can part ways, no hard feelings.
Yep.
But if you have any interest, if you are starting to think, like, most businesses cannot lock down again. Like, we've already lost hundreds of thousands. They don't report these numbers, but you know, so whether you can't afford to lock down again, or it's not right, what's going on, join us.
Join
Join
it.
us.
And join the fight, guys, because you know what? This is, everybody's always asking, well, what can I do? What can I do? What can I? Well, this is what you can fucking do. If you own a business, stay the fuck open. Don't let them bully you and
Mhm.
get yourself, like, the best part here, guys, is knowledge is power. And the more you can fill up your brain and get a community of like minded people backing you up, the more you're going to be ready to take on the people like that, the gym lady who would yell at the cops. I thought, like, I loved her because I was like, man, her and I would get along so well.
There.
Don't leave it to the gym owners to keep telling the cops to go fuck themselves. Like, let's get like that nice little mom and pop shop that sells essential oils and just sings like yoga songs all day. Let's get them empowered, and let's get them to tell the cops to fuck off in a very yoga positive vibe self that they're going to do in it, right? Like, we need
Totally.
everybody. If
And we actually don't need massive numbers, to be honest, although I'd love them. But one example, back in the winter, well, I guess it was March, so almost spring, there were roughly 300 businesses in the Simcoe Muskoka area, not all registered with We Are All Essential, but different groups coming together and working together. And they took a stand. And there was an article published saying, let's take a delicate approach, an educational approach. They were literally like, because they didn't have the bylaw numbers, they didn't have the officers to enforce this. They knew they'd lost control. They could not enforce this. And so they decided to be all like, oh, we're just going to take an educational approach, right? They try to make it their idea, but they basically said, we're not going to just look for open signs and come in and harass you. We're going to take an educational approach if somebody complains, if somebody calls a complaint in on you. And that was it. And they also reversed, they went from the gray back into red, or the other way around. I can't remember, get stupid color schemes right. But anyway, they reversed within 7 days. They reversed the color, right? And so with roughly 300 people, so we don't need tens of thousands. Although that would be pretty kick-ass if we had that and put this and this tomorrow. But so spread the word, please. If you know any small business owner out there, most of us do, right? Whether we are a business owner or we know somebody, at least just let them know that we exist. We're a network of support. It doesn't have to be some hard sell. There's no money involved, etc. So just let them know, let them decide for themselves. That's all we're about. We want to support businesses to know that they have options and to set them up as best we can to protect their businesses.
Yeah.
We don't tell you got to open this day in this way. No, we just let you know what you can do. It's your business. You take the action that's best for you. You run your business as you see fit. And yeah.
I think, and you said it right. Like, like, I just think about here in Winnipeg, like, if we had all the gyms that stayed open and said masks or no masks, whatever you want, jabbed or not jabbed, don't care. We're going to stay open. We're going to stay at full capacity, and we're going to, social distance. Sure, we'll comply to that, whatever the hell you guys want, but we're still going to run our gym.
Mhm.
If every gym did that, guess what? they would say, okay, gyms are essential. And
Yeah.
then if all the yoga stores and then all the little mom and pop jewelry stores, if they all sit together and then they said, we're not closing, but we'll honor whatever you need us to honor, like honor what Costco's doing. Why the hell do they get to stay open? Because
Mm-hmm.
they sell clothing and car parts and everything else could be done through Instacart like everything else. But if these little pockets just opened up, guess what? You're going to be deemed essential. Look what happened in BC. All the restaurants all of a sudden were deemed essential when they all opened at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
just
there's
gotta,
lots of examples, and once again, it doesn't take a huge group, but your sector will be acknowledged if you come together and
yeah,
put a little pressure on them. Yeah.
exactly. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate that. That was a quick response. I just texted her over the weekend, and I was so happy we were able to make this work because,
Me too.
um, as a business owner for myself, like you really do give me hope to be able to open up my gym again, even in a lockdown, because I'm not going to care. And it's a passion, it's your life, it's your drive, it's your purpose in this world and then it's a gift that you get to share with everybody else. And when you let people say no to that, you
Hmm.
stifle yourself as a person and as your spirituality self, that you came down to like share your gift and you're not even allowed to do that.
I
Right?
know. Yeah.
So the We Are Essential platform, guys, get on there, volunteer, business owners, sign up and get yourself knowledge because holy crap, it's coming and they're coming after you again. So people
Hmm.
like Samantha, Vlad, they're all here to help you out.
Can I just do a quick little plug?
Yep.
This is a beautiful calendar that we put together. I'm trying to figure out how the camera works. It's a tribute to many of the leaders who stood up this past 16, 17 months. I've lost track. This is Rebecca, owner of Corduroy in Vancouver here, who was one of the few businesses, restaurants to stand up, and at that time, and it's an awareness campaign. Every picture, so this is the September. Every picture has tons of information. Oh, it's backwards. Tons of information about the issues behind these things. So it's an awareness campaign, and it is a fundraiser for our network. As much as we don't charge for what we do, there's still costs, right? There's still costs to doing what we do. And so it's $20. And we actually have calendars in different locations in Ontario, in Saskatchewan, in BC. We're trying to get it all across Canada. It starts in September. So next month, it starts September 2021 and goes till September of 2022. Would really appreciate your support. If you want to email for inquiries whether you can pick up in person or to have it shipped to you, you can email essentialcalendar2122@gmail.com, and we can chat about what's near you and how to get it to you. So thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Well, there you go, guys. Not only do you get a calendar with like super awesome people that have fucking put their money where their mouth is, right? And that's right there. You guys have to get that
That
calendar.
is right there.
Look at that. That's
Sky and Vlad and yeah, a bunch of people.
Do you want to quickly put down where they can find that calendar in the private chat, and I'll add it to the chat link for them?
Yeah, for sure.
awesome, guys. So there you go. So calendars to help support them, because yeah, like I get it. There's always hidden costs. We have hidden costs as well. Anything that you guys can do to help support this platform, this is super, super important. So make sure you guys get your calendars. Make sure you guys hop over to We Are Essentials. Is it Essentials or Essential?
We are all essential.ca.
And get yourself signed up for volunteer or get your business signed up. If you guys know someone that has a business that's struggling and they want to stay open, get them on there so that they can also get themselves empowered, because this is what it's all about. Samantha, thank you so damn much for joining us tonight. I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for everything that you're doing for all us business owners, because without you guys, us business owners, we'd be lost. We'd be in the shuffle somewhere, not knowing what to do. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate you having me here. And yeah, look forward to meeting many more members this tomorrow night, Wednesday night at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST. You can do all the other conversions. We have our network meetup. So if you join us today, you can join us tomorrow for our Zoom meetup. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So that's 8 o'clock Winnipeg time. Thank you, Sam, for joining us. Thank you so much. Again, get to all their platforms. We're going to roll it one more time through. Thanks for joining us tonight. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody that helps us with our program, everybody who is watching tonight. We can't do this alone. We can't do it without the right people. So thanks to everybody at the Winnipeg Alternative Media platform for all you guys and everything that you guys do. September's coming around. We plan to have a couple of new shows for you guys coming up. We're just going to be working out some of the kinks and some of the details. I want to thank these guys right here. This is exactly where I was going. So thank you so damn much, Alex. Resistance Coffee, thank you to them for sponsoring the Filthy Truth. You get to save 10% if you guys go to the website, www.resistancecoffee.com. Type in the Filthy Truth after you guys have purchased your stuff in the code section. And guess what? You save 10%. Also, you guys can get your defund.
I sure just did.
Right?
I just got my bag today. It was delicious.
It's so good. The coffee.
Oh,
is
so good. I got to fund the CBC, so CDC.
Yeah.
It was Brazilian roast.
Yeah.
Mwah.
The defund the CBC, and I just opened up the Black Gold bag, which is the dark roast, and the Tree Hugger are my 3 favorite coffees. That and he's right. The defund the CBC, you just open that bag and your mouth starts to water for your coffee. And don't forget, guys, that these guys also help. They help the fight. They help send 10% to the JCCF for those guys to help fight tickets like I have been facing, and for many other people who stand up against this tyranny. They send money to Rebel News, Fight the Tickets, fightthefines.com. They also send out a couple more platforms. If you guys want your defund the CBC t-shirts, they also have them on that website. So you guys just go ahead and get yourselves some clothing there. Can I have vitamin stickers and stickers mailed to me, perhaps? The vitamin stickers, actually, this one here, that's Patrick Allard. So if you guys want
I was
those,
just about to say that.
Those stickers, get a hold of Patty. He is on Facebook. He's also on Instagram, and just type in Patrick Allard, and he's got these signs. He's got stickers. He's got buttons. He's got, I think he's even got lawn signs for you guys out there. If you guys want to order some coffee, go to www.resistancecoffee.com, and you guys can pick whatever bag you want. They even have the big 5-pound bags. You can pick your t-shirts, and the sizes are all on there. If you guys want some Winnipeg Alternative Media gear that was just kind of flashing here, make sure to head over to the WHAM page and get yourself some WHAM gear. I know that we were talking about getting some Filthy Truth clothing out there too, so maybe get some sweatpants that say the Filthy Truth on them. There you go. And this is going to be where we're going to be eventually.
That is the new website. The other's website isn't live anymore. It doesn't exist.
So there you go. New website. All right. That's the show tonight. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And next week, we are working on getting a wellness panel together. So you're not going to want to miss that show. If you guys are struggling with weight, if you guys are struggling with mental health, if you guys are struggling with the motivation why, if you guys are struggling with anything that comes to health, make sure to send me a text message so that is a conversation that I can have with the wellness panel. We will have a spot for a Q&A on there as well. So make sure to join us next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. To get yourselves on that wellness panel. You're not going to want to miss this conversation, because this is time. This is the time to focus you, to park the excuses. If you guys saw my Instagram post today, because I'm on Facebook jail right now, so it's not letting me post on Facebook, but if you go to my Instagram, it's the real Lynne Nelson, and you guys go on there and take a look. You guys will see that it's all about call out, and it's all about time to put your health on the map. Thank you so much, Samantha. Thank you for joining us from We Are Essentials. Alex, play us out. Have a good night, everybody.